You know, in private practice, the way that you get to increase your fees is to speak copiously in court. Even if you say nothing, just speak copiously in court. Because after the clients, when they finish, they say, my lawyer spoke. The way my lawyer cannot. Did you see the way my lawyer was talking? The other lawyers in the courtroom know that he said nothing. And I'm saying this because I have listened to all that my friends on the other side have said, and I cannot hear anything. I cannot hear anything. And the reason why I say I cannot hear anything is simple. We all know that under the NPP, in 2020, you brought a bill to this house, ostensibly to revise the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act, the existing law then. Mr. Speaker, in the process, you enacted an office, which is the office of the Minister for National Security. And you enacted the office and therefore impliedly made it a permanent existence. Mr. Speaker, even the Constitution shies away from enacting ministerial portfolios. Apart from the Attorney General, no minister is enacted by legislation. Ministries are created by executive instruments, and then that necessitates the appointment of a minister to be responsible for that ministry. Mr. Speaker, by enacting the office of a Minister of National Security, you are tying the hands of every president so that he must appoint a Minister for National Security. Mr. Speaker, in the process, you had unwieldy size of government. How many ministers did they have? 125 ministers.
Look at the video.
125 ministers and deputy ministers. For a small country like this. When a country like Australia, with a bigger economy, has just about 30 ministers. Mr. Speaker, the NDC promised that when we come to office, we will downsize. We will cut down the number of ministers. So when we came into office, we indeed cut down the number of ministers.
The decision to amend this.
And among the ministries that we decided to guillotine was the Minister for National Security. And then the issue arose in this chamber. The Right Honorable Speaker, Alban Sumana Bagwin, raised it in this chamber that there is a legal problem. There is an act that enacts the office of National Security Minister. So we cannot appoint ministers and there will be no Minister for National Security. So the fundamental thing about this bill is to revise the existing legislation and take out the imposition of a Minister for National Security. That is the fundamental objective of this bill. Take the bill and go through it properly, and you will see that all that the bill is seeking to do is to abolish the office of Minister for National Security and the functions assigned to the Minister for National Security and the establishment of the Inter-Ministerial Council for National Security. Because all these three main items They are not. They are not. Mr. Speaker, so that's the idea that we are pursuing, which is taking out the office of Minister for National Security. Mr. Speaker, if we do that, we will essentially be reverting to the legislation that existed before Act 1030 was enacted. That is the fundamental objective. Of course, in the process, advantage has been taken of the proposal before this House to also add a few things, revise a few things, based on the experience that we have obtained working these two legislations. So, Mr. Speaker, I am surprised that the impression is created that there's something wrong being done, and then we don't know what we're about, and then the bill is inadequate, and there's nothing wrong. There's everything wrong with enacting an Office of National Security Minister. We have a Minister for Health. It is not enacted. We have a Minister for Education. It is not enacted. We have a Minister for Roads and Transport. It is not enacted. Those ministers are not enacted. It's the ministries that are enacted. And it is the agencies under the ministry that are enacted. So you have highways, you have urban roads, you have all these agencies, Ghana Health Service, you have Ghana Education Service, you have all of them agencies under the ministries enacted. But the ministry itself is simply created by an executive instrument because presidents can decide to realign and change it. They don't need to come to parliament to realign. But what you did here is to force the hand of a president so that he must appoint a minister for national security. It was a wrong thing for us to have done as a parliament.
But they did it.
Well, we're all in the parliament. They proposed it, but we're here and we voted. So I'm saying that was a wrong thing for us to have done. And this historical wrong has to be corrected. And that's what we're doing today. We are correcting the wrongs of the NPP government. We are cutting down the number of ministers. We don't believe in large-sized governments. Large-sized government wastes public money. The taxpayer must get value for money. That is the object of this bill. Nothing more. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Director General of Intelligence, as indicated by Honorable Kabiru, I try very much to understand where he was coming from.
Where was going?
And where he was going. But I know that all the acts, all that the bill seeks to do is to just redesignate it as Director General for Internal Security and Director General for External Security. And Internal Security is the BNI, and then the External Security is Research Department, and they already have directors. They have directors. If you just redesignate the titles to fit what modern nomenclature is, I don't see anything fundamental about that. Why we should be splitting hairs about just redesignating titles of offices that already exist. We are not creating the offices. Mr. Speaker, when you go to the issue of coordinator, yes, coordinators have existed from the beginning as a matter of practice. Then when the first legislation was being passed to govern national security, it was enacted. All subsequent legislation have kept the the coordinator of national security. Functions basically the same. Now, you cannot say that we are creating a coordinator who is politically unaccountable. That is obviously not true. We know the normal accountability mechanisms under our constitution. First and foremost, we can hold the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act through the process of budgeting for them. Their budget is approved by this House. They bring the budget document proposals here, we approve it. Every money they spend, we approve it. And the committee can always invite the minister responsible for national security to come and answer questions. And the honorable minister kept repeating that. He's been coming here to answer questions. Beyond that, he's been appearing before the Committee of Parliament to provide briefings on security matters anytime that he has been invited. Nothing is going to be sacrificed when it comes to political accountability of the security and intelligence agencies. So I don't know where the argument is coming from, that we are about to compromise the human rights of citizens, that they will no longer be politically accountable. Under what arrangement? Because the existing arrangement clearly in the last 1 year and 2 months have worked in such a way that no political accountability has been compromised. So I think that that argument also falls flat on its face. The argument about the warrants and freezing powers and etc., they've always existed. In your own legislation which we passed in this house, Act 1030, there were the same provisions. Nothing really fundamental, except a proposal that sometimes by the time you go and apply for a warrant to freeze an account, it takes a second to move the money from that account. It takes seconds to move the money from that account. It just takes the click of a button, because everything is electronic. Somebody can actually just use his or her cell phone and transfer and wire all his or her money. That's where banking has reached now. So when a security intelligence agency is interrogating a suspect and begins to suspect that they have monies in an account, by the time they go to the court and apply for a warrant and apply for a freezing authority, the account is drained. Money is transferred. And so there is a suggestion that at a certain level in the leadership of the intelligence agencies, they should be able to authorize such actions and then within a week go to court for court to confirm it or to set it aside.
In the West, the same provisions in the West.
We have the same thing in the Office of Special Prosecutors Act. So why grant the Office of Special Prosecutor those powers and deny the other intelligence agencies who are also doing investigation to enable prosecution, deny them the same powers? So there's no real threat or danger. As for chasing pickups and etc., we didn't start chasing pickups today.
Yes.
I know colleagues on this side who are ministers of state who were stopped in public and their car seized from them.
Yes.
It happened.
Under his leadership.
I'm not saying that it is right. I'm not saying that it should be allowed to happen or that it should continue. But my argument is simple. How does that bear on the provisions of this bill? There's no bearing. If you want to complain about your pickup being seized, please complain. But don't use this, second reading as an opportunity to complain about your pickup that was stopped. Why didn't you report to the police? Why are you reporting to us in Parliament? Mr. Speaker, let me thank colleagues for a very spirited debate, but just to indicate that we bring this bill out of necessity. We want to remove all the provisions compelling the establishment of the Office of the Minister for National Security and then maintain what has always existed, which is the President to designate a minister to serve as the minister to exercise oversight over the security and intelligence agencies, and then through that person, this Parliament can hold that whole sector accountable. Mr. Speaker, I think that this is commendable. The report effectively captures the issues. They've considered many things that have been debated. The issue of members of Parliament being on district and municipal security committees were considered. I'm a member of the committee, the minority leader is a member of the committee, and very strong arguments were made why we should not have members of Parliament sitting in the district and Municipal Security Council. People have different views about that, but I think that as a committee, from what I see in the report, the conclusion is not to encourage a thing like that. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I want to thank the Minister for moving the motion and the Chairperson for seconding and presenting the report, and urge members to vote adopting this report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favor of the motion say aye.